Walk down any grocery store aisle, and you will be bombarded by a very specific promise. Marketing labels constantly assure us that what we are buying is pure, heavily relying on the imagery of unadulterated, wholesome ingredients, like this bottle of whole milk. We see the same claim applied to basic household staples. These containers of table salt are packaged and sold with the implied guarantee of absolute purity. But if you put those products in front of a chemist, the illusion immediately shatters. To a scientist, that milk and salt are actually chaotic soups made of varying proteins, fats, trapped gases, and trace minerals. In science, pure is an absolute, unyielding standard. A pure substance is matter that consists entirely of a single, uniform type of particle. No hitchhikers, no hidden ingredients. This presents a paradox. Since almost nothing we interact with on a daily basis meets this strict scientific standard, we have to ask, what exactly are we looking at? And how does science organize all this chemical chaos? The vast majority of the world is made of mixtures, materials created when two or more pure substances are combined physically rather than chemically. The easiest place to start making sense of them is the messiest category, heterogeneous mixtures. Think of muddy water. This is a specific type of mixture called a suspension. The particles floating inside the liquid are large enough to be seen with the naked eye. Because of their size, if you leave the mixture alone, gravity will eventually pull those particles down to settle at the bottom. However, when you mix things so thoroughly that the distinct parts vanish, you cross over into homogeneous mixtures, introducing the scientific concept of a solution. In a true solution, the particles of the dissolved substance are torn apart to an infinitesimally small scale, usually under a nanometer wide. They mix perfectly and become permanently suspended. Unlike a suspension, a true solution will never settle out. Simple observation and gravity are usually enough to expose a messy suspension. But solutions prove a tricky point. Physical matter has the ability to perfectly hide its complexity from the naked eye. Which brings us back to that pure glass of milk. It presents a unique problem. It doesn't separate over time like a typical suspension, but it also lacks the perfect transparency of a true solution. Milk belongs to a deceptive middle ground known as a colloid. In a colloid, the particles are permanently suspended throughout the liquid. They remain slightly too large to dissolve into a perfect solution, yet they are still far too small to be seen individually. Chemists use a definitive test. Shining light through a mixture reveals its structure. In a colloid, suspended particles act as obstacles, scattering the light. This makes the beam brightly visible, the Tyndall effect. This principle governs the natural world beyond the laboratory. Here, sunlight piercing a misty forest canopy shows the Tyndall effect illuminating a giant airborne colloid. Colloids prove that our human senses are easily fooled by the matter around us. We must rely on physical tests, like light scattering, to deduce the true nature of a mixture. To actually reach true purity, we have to keep stripping away these physical mixtures. Through exhaustive processes like filtration and evaporation, we can separate the different parts until only one uniform substance remains. At physical reality's bedrock are elements. Like these solid gold bars, an element is matter that cannot be broken down further by chemical reactions. Those fundamental elements rarely stay isolated. They constantly interact and combine to form the second tier of true purity, compounds. There is a critical distinction here. While a mixture is just different ingredients physically tossed together, the elements inside a compound are chemically locked together in an exact, fixed mathematical proportion. This violent chemical bonding permanently strips elements of their individual identities. They fuse to forge an entirely new substance with radical new physical properties. Scientific purity exists independently of marketing or natural labels. It is defined by chemical immutability, a fixed structural perfection at the atomic level. Every physical object in the universe can be sorted using one unbreakable logical tree. This flowchart maps out that exact architecture. Right at the top, all matter is divided into two paths: chemically bonded pure substances and physically combined mixtures. Following the pure substance branch, the logic terminates perfectly into fundamental elements and the rigidly locked compounds they form. Down the mixture branch, physical combinations neatly divide into uniform homogeneous solutions and messy heterogeneous suspensions. Viewing the world through this logical tree reframes the impurity of our everyday surroundings. This constant chemical mingling provides the necessary mechanical framework for life to exist. The infinite, chaotic beauty of the world, from the milk we drink to the air we breathe, is entirely possible because of the infinite ways a few pure elements are willing to mix, mingle, and bond.